October 1st, 2015. Thursday. Man, this is a long chapter 1, isn't it? The same time. Oh, this is like at like the same time Takeru just woke up, I guess. Shibuya Police Station.
いい加減答えてくれないかな。
Would you please just tell me your name and
名前と
address
住所は？
already?
学生さん？
Are you a student
それ
or
と
do you
も
have a job?
働いているのかな。あの柿田っていう男の人
You
と
went to that hotel with that
何回
man,
もあのホテ
Kakita,
ル行っ
many
てるよ
times,
ね。
right?
ど
Did
う
you
いう
know
知
him?
り合い？
Were you
付き合ってた
dating?
の？もし喋るのが嫌なら
If you don't want to talk,
う
feel
なず
free
く
to
と
just
か
nod
手
or
を
wave
振る
your
とか
hand.
何で
Just
もい
tell
いからさ。
The officer sank back into a chair in resignation. Shinjo could sympathize.
なるほどな。
I see. He just come to check on her a moment ago, but they've been probably doing this since yesterday. Locked in an interrogation room, cut off from the outside world, and questioned by multiple officers, most people would lose their cool. They'd start to wonder what effects their words were having, and focus on every movement of the officer who was taking down notes. It wasn't hot in the room, but they'd sweat. This girl didn't respond at all. Probably wasn't because she was used to it. If she'd ever been interrogated before, the fingerprints they'd taken would have told them who she was.
新庄さん、
Shinjo,
やはり連れて行った方が
maybe we should take her to...
To a mental hospital, you mean? It made sense. The natural assumption was that the shock of the incident had incapacitated her. Shinjo nodded, as if considering it.
捜索願いは？
Any missing person reports? This was the second day since the incident. If she lived in a normal family environment, someone should have submitted a missing persons report by now.
洗いました。
I
ですが
checked, but no
当たり
luck.
ません。
Oh, you're one of us! You're one of the earthquake orphans! I shouldn't celebrate. Shinjo watched the girl as he listened to her talk, but the girl didn't move a muscle.
家庭のことを言外に含ませても動きなし。
Even mentioning her family didn't get us anywhere, huh? The normal ways weren't going to work then. She'd been sent to the hospital by dawn at this rate.
ご苦労さん。こっちで留置しておくから。
Thanks,
もういいよ。
I'll take care of her. You can go. The other officer couldn't hide her happiness as she left the room. Shinjo sat down in the chair she'd been sitting in and took a good look at the girl at the front. From the front. In the front, I don't know. She was ignoring him and still looking down at the desk. She didn't seem to notice or care that the person in front of her had changed. Shinjo remembered his conversation with Momose. After he'd hung up, she called back in precisely 3 minutes, just like she promised. And then she'd said, "My kid has a message for you."
Is what she says.
それだけですか？
Is that all?
どういう意味です？
What's that even mean?
いいからそう聞いてごらんなさい。
Just ask her.
それで今の
If
新庄
she
ちゃんのような
reacts
反
like
応をした
just
り、変わ
if
ら
she
ず
reacts
黙っ
just
たまま
like
だっ
you
たり
did,
したら、
or doesn't say
残念だけ
anything,
ど
then I'm sorry, but
感
the
知しか取る
psychiatric
手
hold
段
is
は
your
ない
only
ですよ。
option.
もし別の反応をしたら、
But if she
もう
reacts
一度
with
連
some
絡をちょ
other
うだい。
way, contact me again.
The message didn't make much sense, but he didn't see any other way.
一つ聞きたいことがあるんだ。
I'd like to ask you a question. There was no response, of course. He continued, uncertain if she was even hearing him.
君は 持っているものに気づかれなかったのか、元から持っていない
Did
の
you
か。
have it and they didn't realize it? Or did you never have it? Which is it? Her eyes moved. Instead of looking down at the desk, she was looking at Shinjo. Shinjo was surprised, but he did his best to hide it.
どうなんだ。
Well? The girl stared at him as if trying to figure him out. Then a moment later,
誰なんですかあなたは。
Who are you?
her words were quiet but sharp. It was the same tone of voice that Shinjo used when he was interrogating a subject.
ここの刑事だ。君、
I'm a detective here at this station. What's your name? She seemed to be thinking about something as she stared at him. The mannerisms were just like his own, again. It was the same way a detective faced a criminal, trying to gain every scrap of information from what he could see. And then she slowly opened her mouth.
有村ひなえ。碧峰学園の学生です。
You know, when I thought we'd peaked at these difficult Japanese pronunciations, and here I am with Hinai. Hinai? Hinai? Hinai. I'm gonna go with Arimura.
Hinai Arimura. I'm a student at Heiko Academy.
Same place me and my dumb face are from. And my occasionally dumb friends. I left the motorhome where I lived alone, and only then did I realize that it was evening. The sunlight must have been pouring into my room, but I hadn't noticed. I didn't really remember when I'd gone to sleep or when I'd woken up.
大丈夫だな。
It's okay, right? I looked around and made sure none of the scenery had changed, then walked up the steps in front of me. Miyashita Park was just a few minutes walk away from Shibuya Station. It was also known as Homeless Park. This is where I lived after I left the dorm. The first floor was a huge parking structure, and the second story had a futsal? They should have fucking notes for these words. I don't know what half of them mean. A futsal field and a climbing wall. It had been mostly abandoned during the recovery efforts after the Shibuya earthquake. Just realizing I'd left something in front of my screen and can't read the bottom lines. After the quake, the people who lost their family, or who never had any family to begin with, gathered here en masse. Mitake Park, which was right next door, was supposed to be the evacuation point for this area, but Miyashita had always been a mecca for the homeless, so everyone gathered there. When people gathered, so did things. Containers filled with food, blankets, tents, even the trailer for a motorhome that was left behind when its owner fled Shibuya. Every part of the park was overhauled to create the place for people to live. The parking lot, the futsal field, the climbing wall, etc. And the next thing anyone knew was there was a society there that was big enough that the government couldn't force them out. Then some group of idiots came out to try and turn the place into a temporary housing. That was shut down in less than a month. As a result, even though you could find beautifully rebuilt skyscrapers just a street away, Miyashita Park became one of Japan's biggest slums.
これいいですか？
Can I have this? I spoke to the man who sold newspapers, magazines, and everything else as I picked up a newspaper with today's date, October the 1st, on it.
Oh, Taku.
Oh, Taku! I don't see you buying newspapers often. Sure, take it.
いいんですか？
Can I?
どうせ余るしね。
I've got plenty.
それに触れ
And take a look. He showed me the snacks and alcohol at his feet. He must have sold a lot today. There were a lot of people in the park who had enough money that they could have stayed in a capsule hotel if they wanted to.
ああ、してんならできれば別のとこにな。
Oh, if you're going to throw it away, do it somewhere else. They're getting annoying about garbage. I thanked him and went to leave.
おいタク、電気代か。
Hey, Taku, off to pay the electric bill?
はい。
Yeah,
そうですけど。
that's right. I'm not convinced.
ならついでに俺の分も頼む。
And pay mine
南の
too.
まっちゃんからだっつって。
Tell them it's from Maddie on the south side. He handed me a 1,000 yen bill. I nodded, took it, and headed deeper into the park with my paper. Oh, so his name was Maddie? Miyashita Park was divided into north and south halves by a road. If he said he was from the south, that must mean there was a Maddie on the north side who I hadn't met yet. The administrative office on the south side. Just like the name implied, it was where all the administration was done for Miyashita Park. It kept things peaceful between the government and the park occupants, resolved disputes between the homeless, and maintained all the facilities at the park. I knew the woman there by her face, but not her name. I gave her the electric bill, which was due on the 1st of the month, along with Maddie's part. Life in the park might seem carefree and lawless from the outside, but it was actually much stricter than you'd find in some facilities.
はいよ、確かに。はみ出たり、勝手に住み着こうとしているやつは。
Nobody's going over their territory or trying to move in, right?
Everyone who lived on the outer rim of the park, including me since I lived on the far south, had been asked by management to keep an eye out for that.
大丈夫だと思います。
I think it's okay. When I'd looked earlier, I hadn't seen anything change around my place.
最近物騒だからね。
It's rough out there lately, so
見慣
take
れないや
care.
つがいたらすぐに
If
み
you
んな。
see someone you don't know, tell me right away.
Huh?
知ってんだろ
You
ラ
know
ブホ
about
テル
what
の事
happened in
件
the
と
Love
か。
Hotel, right?
ああ、
Oh,
わかりまし
yeah.
た。
I understand. I was startled, but quickly nodded. I suddenly felt like they were criticizing me for hiding something. The corridor that connected the north and south ends of the park. This place, looking down on Meiji Street, was the one part that hadn't really changed since before the earthquake. There were cracks here and there, but the government had forbidden people to put things here because it would ruin the view and might not be safe. I leaned up against the rail and spread open the newspaper with the setting sun shining down on me. There was a column on the front page about the Love Hotel incident, but no new information. There was nothing in the article about the girl who was found at the scene, or how this could be related to what happened 6 years ago. Have they not figured that out yet? Or maybe they had and they just weren't announcing it. If it had something to do with the incident 6 years ago, then so did Don't Look at Me and Leaky Noise. Did that mean they weren't suicides? If the killer had driven them to suicide, then it was probably the same person behind the 3 incidents. But was he working alone or with part of a group? Or maybe people who were related somehow to the incident 6 years ago were killing themselves one after another? Maybe I should look at it maybe I should look at what the 3 cases had in common again. Damn it. What the hell? My hand went up to the new bandage on my cheek. I rubbed it several times to make sure that it was still there. I took out my smartphone. The data I'd recorded at the scene had been deleted by the police. I probably should have just counted myself lucky they didn't take the phone itself. I'd lost my biggest clue to the case.
追うべきじゃないってことなのかな。
Maybe that's the clue that I should just give this up. Maybe this was just out of my league. Maybe it was stupid to get involved. Ah, this must be the doctor that took us in. I can only assume so, because me and Anoe are there. And I don't know the other two kids. I hope they survived. And then I got a call on my phone. I checked the name and hit the answer button.
はい。もしもし。
Yes, hello?
お主か。もう来ておるぞ。いつもの席じゃ。
Who the fuck are you? What is this magical girl bollocks? I thought it was bad with the cat maids in Steins Gate. I didn't realize we fucking brought Madoka Magica here. Might be Madoka Magica with how fucking dark it's been so far. Although, if it is, if this is my Faris equivalent, you know what that calls for. You're right. More rum. One moment. I got this new one on offer that says raspberry rum and cream liqueur. So you're getting a free rum tasting with tonight's episode of Chaos Child. If I can get into the fucking bottle, that is. I'm embarrassed at how long it took me to just open the fucking bottle. Dude, it looks like fucking milkshake. What the hell is this? It smells like yogurt. All this for a fucking, like, vocal thing so I can actually just do the Faris voice. Oh, that's dangerously good. Oh, that's dangerously nice. Oh. Oh, no.
Yeah! Okay, we're good to go. Is that you? There, the usual seat.
どうも。
Thanks. As always, the waitress's appearance and manners were a mystery to me. I bowed to her and went to my seat. Serika was there already, reading a manga. She was fiddling with her Gero Froggy cell phone strap without realizing it. As usual. It was a strange habit, and a nuisance to the people around her. Cafe Lax. The preferred hangout of the newspaper club was just a 10-minute walk from Shibuya Station. The owner was a manga fan, and the walls were lined with the stuff. There was free Wi-Fi, the prices were good, and if it wasn't crowded, you could sit there for hours as long as you bought a single drink. The most important part was, since it was in a hard-to-find spot, barely anyone from Hekiho knew about it. So I didn't have to worry about running into anyone I knew. As usual, there was barely anyone there. Just a single couple that appeared to be in college. I ordered my usual Mountain View and sat down.
何読んでるんだ？
What are you reading?
ああ、タク。
Oh, Taku.
そう。
I'm not sure what this is. I can't read.
は？
Huh?
適当に取ったか
I
ら。
just grabbed it off the shelf.
Serika went to put the manga back on the shelf, then came and sat back down.
はい、これ制服。
Here, this is your
のんちゃん
uniform.
から言われて。
No one told me to
クリ
clean
ーニング
it,
しといた
so
から
I did.
悪いな。
Thanks. I took the bag containing my uniform from Serika. It was the uniform that had gotten covered with blood at the Love Hotel.
今日学校は？
Did you go to school today?
言ってないよ。
Nope.
タクもでし
Neither
ょ。
did you, right?
I nodded. I hadn't felt like it at all.
のんちゃんたちに連絡は？
Did you contact Non or Ito?
メールはしといた。
I sent them a text. When I got up this morning, I sent both of them a text saying that I was okay. They both sent back responses almost immediately, but neither of them said much about what happened. They probably won't mention it for my sake.
で、どうだ？
So how are you doing?
大丈夫か？
You okay?
うん、まあ。
Yeah, I guess.
死んでる人を見るのは
This is my first
初め
time
てじゃ
seeing a
ない
dead
し。
body.
Wow, that's not a sound I wanted to hear. Serika spoke in a normal tone of voice as she drank her favorite, grapefruit juice. She didn't seem like she was lying. That's how she'd been ever since she was a kid. It wasn't that she didn't have any feelings. She just got over them very quickly.
タクは大丈
Where's
夫
you, Taku? You okay?
Now that she asked, I wasn't sure how to answer the question. The waitress brought me my mountain view. I nodded and took it. Was I okay?
嘘マジで
No way, seriously? That's terrible!
マジマジ超焦ったっ
Seriously,
つうの
I couldn't believe it.
空気読めっつう
What
話
a
でさ
dumbass, right? I spun the ice in my drink and listened to the couple's irritating conversation. Serica silently waited for my answer. I knew that face. She'd been my friend since we were kids. There's no point in trying to hide it.
正直言
To
う
be
と
honest, I'm not sure.
迷ってる。
迷ってるって
Not sure about
何を
what?
事件を追うかどうか。
About whether I should keep following this case. Serica seemed genuinely shocked.
Huh?
本当に
Really?
すいませんグレープ
Excuse
フ
me,
ルーツ
I'd like another
もう一つ
grapefruit juice.
Serica raised her hand and ordered another drink.
いつものタクだったら
Normally you'd say this was your big chance and rush right in, right?
That might be true, but things were different this time. After what I'd gone through.
そりゃホテルは
I
怖
mean,
かったけ
sure,
ど
what
さ
happened at the hotel was scary, but...
Serica continued as if she knew exactly what I was thinking.
昔都市伝説とか
Remember how scary it was when we used to go chasing after urban legends?
冒険だって言って
Remember how you snuck into that hospital because it was an adventure?
I nodded. I just dreamed about it.
あの時も
That
怖
was
かったけ
scary
ど
too.
この怖さは
Even when you
他
were
の人が経
crying,
験
you
して
said
ない
that
も
the
ん
terror
なんだ
was something
貴重
special
なんだ
because
って
nobody else had
泣きながら
experienced
さ
it.
お前も泣いてた
You were crying back then too.
そうだっけ
Was I?
ほれ残すなよ
Here, finish it all.
どうも
Oh, thanks.
Good idea, Serica. I also need more drink, but not of alcohol. I don't have that big a problem. Only one recording. Shit. As if proving my own point. Don't worry, I'm hitting the water now. Serica took her glass of juice and gulped it down. So?
Huh?
いや
I mean, so?
何が
So what?
Come on.
あそうか
Oh, right.
だからさ
So anyway, I figured you said that since you had an experience that no one else had. And even if it was scary, this was your big
チャンス
chance.
だってタクなら言うかな
Her voice was light as she drank her juice, but her words didn't feel light at all. Something other people hadn't experienced. Something different from other people.
たまに頭いいんだか悪いんだかわからなくなる
Sometimes I don't know if she's smart or dumb. I stared at Serica's face. How much did she understand about what she was saying?
何
What?
ダメ
Oh,
よ
no, you can't have any.
She moved the juice away from me. I was wrong. She probably didn't realize anything. Yeah, actually, she wasn't even thinking about anything. She really was dumb.
バイトにんなこと言われてもね
I don't know about hearing from that part-timer.
だろ
Right?
やる気がないのか
Does he not just give a
ね
damn?
えよ普通に
Well, normally, why would he?
なあ渋谷地震の被災者のコメントの
Did
話
I
っ
ever
て
tell you
した
about
こ
the
とあったっ
comments
け
from the Shibuya earthquake victims?
何それ？
What do you mean?
I was pretty sure I told her a bunch of times. Well, whatever. Time for a lecture. Buckle up, fuckos.
地震直後の混乱が収まった後
Remember how just after the chaos
大量
from
の
the
マスコミ
earthquake
が
calmed down,
被災者に
a
対
ton
し
of
て押し
reports
かけた
started
だろ
asking the victims for
まだ
comments
カオスチャイルド症
before
候
the
群者
term
って
chaos
いう
child
言葉がなか
syndrome.
った頃に
I genuinely don't know if I finished that sentence. I don't know if I stopped it, if I actually said existed, or whether I just stopped at syndrome. God, it's late. Of course, I've been in a coma for about a year after the earthquake, so I'd only investigated it after I woke up.
その取材の論調の多くは
Most of the
民度の高
interviews
さ
were
を
about
訴え
what
る
good
ものだ
citizens we were.
これだけの
After the
震災
huge
にもか
disaster,
かわ
there
ら
was
ず
barely any
暴
violence
動
or
や
looting.
略奪などの犯罪が
They
ほ
said
と
it
ん
was
ど起きていな
amazing.
い実際そうなんだと思うよ
And I think they were right.
何が今一番辛いですか
When they asked the
って聞かれた
victims
時
what was the hardest
大
part,
半の被災者が
most people were
地方
concerned
の
more
家
about
族に
others
自
than
分の無事を伝
themselves.
えてやれないこととか子供に好
They
物を
talked about how
与え
they
てやれない
couldn't
ことと
contact
か
their families
と
and
にか
tell
く
them that they were
他人を
safe,
心配しててさ
or they couldn't give their children their favorite foods.
でもそんな
But
中
then
で
one
一人の
person
被災
said
者が言
something
ったんだよ
different. I remembered what they'd said word for word. It had left a huge impression on me.
頑張れという部外者
You outsiders have some nerve if you're telling us to hang in there.
正直うなずいたよ
To be honest, I agreed completely. They said exactly what I was thinking. I didn't know who they were, but I admired them anyway. Those feelings were the exact opposite of all the excited, fired up people on the outside.
これを言った人は僕に近い人だっ
I
ていう
think
気が
whoever
す
said
る
this
んだ
was someone close to me.
ただ一連の出来
Not
事を
just someone
ネ
who
ットで
saw
見
the
てい
whole
た
thing on
と
the
は違う
internet. Not someone who just happened to be caught up in the
ただ被災
earthquake.
しただけの人とも違う
タクの両親
You
の
mean
こ
one of
と
your parents?
あ、そういえば復興祭合わせの
Oh,
耳
hey!
テニサー
The
の
guys
練
from
習
the
も
tennis club said they're coming for to a drinking party after the festival.
マジで
Seriously?
そした
Oh,
ら
then we
絶対
definitely won't be able to
じゃ
drink
ん
at home. I was different. I was different than the people who just lived normal lives in Shibuya. I ripped the bandage off my cheek. The wound had closed up. My face was back to normal. I was back to normal. The case was right in front of me. I had a huge mystery to investigate. I wasn't about to just be caught up in something. As a right-sider, it was my job to jump into the middle of all this information, right? I could feel something like excitement mixed with a sense of duty welling up inside me. I couldn't stop myself from smiling.
また危険
You
な目
might
に
be
遭う
put
か
in
もしれ
danger
ないぞ
again.
Huh?
事件のこと
You mean the case?
I nodded. Serica laughed, a little strangely. And then for some reason, she patted me lightly on the shoulder. I didn't know what that meant, but I started to laugh too. Serica nodded.
よしそれならまず
Alright.
ラブホテルの事
Let's
件
start
か
with
ら
the
行
love
こうか
hotel case then.
Serica took out her pocket com. She typed into it with a practiced hand. She seemed to be loading a video file.
なんだそれ
What's this?
これ
This?
現場でタクが撮っ
This
て
is
い
the
た
video
録
you
画
took
デ
of
ー
the
タ
scene.
警察に
I
消さ
uploaded
れ
it to
る
an
前
online
に
storage
ストレー
site
ジに
before
上
the
げて
police
たんだ
deleted it.
How did you do that without my phone? By the time I got back home, the sun had had long since set, and it was past 8 p.m. I realized that I'd barely eaten anything since arriving at the Love Hotel and suddenly felt very hungry. So I'd eaten a meal at Lax. Is it Lax or is it LAX? I keep pronouncing it Lax just because Cafe Lax sounds hilarious to me.
Hey, I've been wondering since the last time I came here. Did you change your hot water pot? It used to be more... Oh, you made this into a closet.
Sarika had followed me home. She started to glance around the room and offer her opinions on the way it was laid out. She would open drawers and be surprised even though there was nothing important inside. Or look at new files about the cases and tell me their contents at a glance. She always was a little strange like that. She would be surprised by the most obvious things, but sometimes she would show a startling insight. And wait. You're really excited about something, aren't you? She laughed another strange laugh. Is it that much fun to try and solve this case?
More like it feels wrong to give up on something you want to do until you've really given it your all. No matter how it ends up, it's the only way anything matters. You're going to die someday, but you aren't dead right now.
I see, I thought. She was right. A sound came from my PC. The copy operation was finished. Okay, now delete the original in the online storage.
Huh? Why?
Just because of what it is. I don't want anybody seeing it.
This is my private storage, so it should be okay.
Even so, I want there to be no chance that someone else can access it. Actually, delete the one on your Pokécom too.
Okay. Taku, what are you doing?
She looked over at me as she rifled through my bookcases. Making Kakonto.
Kakonto? Huh? What kind of food is that?
Alright, fuck it, I'm committing to the bit. My first good one was with Sarika, and I kinda like her, so we're rolling with it. Are you serious? It's a herbal drink. Gan gave it to me. It keeps you from vomiting.
Wow! I'm amazed you know about something like that.
Yeah. And then some information I'd found before flashed across my mind. Of course, it was from Cool Cat Press. I read about it in a certain special they'd run. If you put eye drops into a beer, it'll make a girl feel aroused. Who the fuck writes these things? What the shit am I... They really do publish whatever bollocks they can and get away with. At the time, I hadn't believed it. In another issue, they said that eye drops in cola would make a girl go to sleep. Why are you giving girls eye drops? Eye drops go in your eyes. And as much as it pains me to say that sentence, because I hate putting things in my eyes, it's where they belong, not in a girl's mouth. There's probably some sentence you can take out of context there, but I'll let you dig that one out. Adding eye drops into a drink would create unusual side effects. I'd heard a rumor that it was just an urban legend, though. What happened if you put eye drops into Kakonto? There was a stupid teenage girl who didn't even know what Kakonto was right in front of me. Should I try it? Oh god, no, the pervy laughs come out. I prepared 2 cups like it was the most natural thing in the world and poured out the kakonto I'd made. Then, taking special care that Serika wouldn't see me, I added a few drops of eye drop medicine from my shelf into her drink. Here. I gave her the cup, acting very naturally.
ありがとう。
Thanks.
She took a drink without suspecting a thing. I gulped as I watched her.
何？どうかした？
What? What's wrong?
いや
Oh, no.
これまずい。
This is terrible. It tastes like medicine.
漢方薬だからな
It's Chinese herbal medicine, after all. With added eye drops, to be precise. I decided to watch and see what happened.
っていうか、なんだか。
I'm shaking my head. This is times I wish I'd actually put my webcam on so you could see my own disappointment.
Wait, I kind of feel...
Hmm?
この部屋、暑くない？
Isn't it hot in here?
Serika's cheeks seemed a little pink. And she seemed to be kind of spacing out. Was it starting to work already? I didn't expect it to work so fast.
ねえ、タク。
Why do I do this to myself? I regret doing this more than every time I do the bad option. I don't know. I genuinely don't.
Hey, Taku,
なんか私、
you're really,
すっごく
really
変な
weird.
感じなんだけど。
Her breathing was getting shallower. She was fidgeting and rubbing her thighs together. She was clearly behaving differently than she usually did. Way to go, cool cat press.
ちょっとトイレ。
I'm gonna use your bathroom.
トイレ
The bathroom?
何する気だ
What are you going to do?
それは内緒。
It's degenerate is what it is.
It's a secret.
内緒ってお前
A secret?
大丈夫な
Are
の
you
か
feeling okay?
なあトイレで
Hey,
何をす
tell
る
me what
つ
you're
もり
gonna
だ
do in the bathroom.
いけないことだよ。
I appreciate your blatant honesty.
Something naughty.
は
Yeah, that's about the reaction I'd expect.
言わせないでよ。
Don't make me say it, dummy.
そうか
I see. I gulped.
別にトイレ行くのはいいけどあまり
You can use the bathroom if you
長い
want,
こと
but
入ってるんじゃない
don't be
ぞ
too long in there, okay?
別にトイレ行きたくないけど。
I don't want to go to the bathroom.
Eh? Serika was looking at me surprised. Her cheeks weren't flushed and her expression was normal.
どうしたの急に。
Where'd that come from?
あいや別に
Oh, no, never mind. I desperately tried to recover as I drank my own kakonto. I hadn't found any eye drops on the shelf, so I'd given up on the experiment. Serika complained about the taste, but she swallowed it down anyway.
それにしても、ゲンさん
Ben's such
い
a
い人
nice
だよ
guy,
ね
though.。I like
だ
him.
な私。
酒癖の悪さ
I
は
wish
ど
you
う
wouldn't
にか
get
してほ
drunk
しい
so
けど
often, though.
でも、タクが公園で
He's your only real friend here at the
ゲン
park,
さんだ
right?
けでしょ
So he really is a
い
good
い人
guy.
だよ。
Am I gonna meet this Gen? Is he gonna show up? Was that why? Well, he did help me out a lot.
Okay.
Okay, it's deleted.
Serica put away her Pokécom. Alright. I booted up the laptop next to the wall and sat down in the chair that folded out into a bed. As I went to load the video file into the player software, I happened to glance at its length.
26分
26 minutes?
そんなにあの部屋にい
Are
た
we in that room that long? Oh, Serica said.
違うと思う。
I don't think so.
タクが気を失って、
Right after you
すぐ
passed
に
out, the
警
police
察が駆け
arrived.
つけて、
But I was sick and throwing up.
私も気持ち悪くて入っ
At
ちゃ
some
ってた
point,
ん
I
だけ
grabbed
ど
your phone and put it
い
in
つ
my
の間に
pocket.
かタクが落としたスマホを自分のポケットに入れてて、それで警察に連れてかれるパト
And
カ
then
ー
when
の
I was
中
in
で
the police car, I
スマホの
realized
こ
I
と
had
に
it.
気づいて、
That was when I
そこで
turned off the
私
record
が
button.
録画ボタンを止めたから。
So that was it. Come to think of it, I hadn't asked how it had happened.
よく警察に消される前に
I'm
ストレー
amazed
ジ
you
に
had
上げ
time
る
to
暇があ
upload
っ
it
た
to the storage before the police deleted it. Serica nodded as if she felt the same way.
たまたまだよ。警察
It
に
was
着いた
blind
時に
luck.
また気持ち
When we
悪くな
got
っ
to
ちゃ
the
って
station, I got
ト
sick
イレに
again,
駆
so
け
I
込ん
ran to
で
the bathroom.
そこで
And that's when I got the
ふっと
idea.
思いついたの。
いや
No,
すごい
I'm
と思う。
really amazed. I really was. I passed out in the hotel, and the next thing I knew, I was at the station. Supposedly, I walked from the patrol car to my room, but my memory was vague and hazy. Took a big sip from the cup to choke down the urge to vomit and slowly let it sink into my stomach. If the recording was successful, then I should see what I'd seen then. It happened 2 days ago, but it left such a strong impression on me that I didn't feel like much time had passed at all. I took a deep breath and told myself it was time to do this. I looked over at Serica.
Okay.
She nodded back at me and glared at the monitor. Okay, I tried to steady my slightly shaking finger as I clicked the file. The first thing I noticed was the sound. The peaceful sound of the music box that filled the room from the spinning bed. A dark, gloomy room. A curtain in the back and a rotating bed behind it. It was that room. The same emotions I'd experienced before came flooding back to me through the blurry screen. I could sense my own hesitation from my gasping breaths. Serica grabbed my shoulder at the sudden sound.
大丈夫
It's okay.
僕が
I
床を
think
踏
that's
み
just
鳴
where
ら
I
したん
made
だ
the floor creak.
Oh, yeah.
そっか。
I see.
The camera was slowly moving towards the back of the room. At some point, my breathing matched the breathing in the recording. It scared me, so I pulled away a little and took a deep breath to isolate myself from the person in the video. I heard that sound. The sound of the wire creaking as the bed spun. I could feel the panic coming through the screen. I wasn't sure what to do.
進むぞ
I'm going to keep going. I could tell that Serica was gulping a little. As I spoke, the camera kept going forward. I could hear Serica's soft gasp in the window. The window? The video. It's because I'm looking at broken glass. The police officer and that woman were lying on the floor. I hadn't realized it at the time, but the glass was scattered all around. Damn. The camera quickly panned without warning. It was the bed. The silhouette behind the curtain was probably the man. The angle was off and wasn't pointing directly at the bed. that point, I hadn't really been aware of the smartphone. Let's get out of here. Now! I heard a dull thud and the screen went black.
Huh?
落としたのかな
Did you drop it?
多分
Probably. Felt like I tripped and fallen backwards. The phone had probably fallen from my hands. Was it black because the camera had fallen face down?
Takeru, the door won't open!
Serica's voice sounded like it was a little far away. It was still picking up sound, evidently. I could hear myself trying to open the door and swearing when I failed. That's right. I'd been fighting with the door then. And then... my body shivered as if it had gone numb. This was... I could hear it. Hey,
聞こえたよな
you heard it, right?
Yeah.
I could hear it. The police said the surveillance cameras hadn't shown anyone else coming into the room. But I could hear it. The constant, rhythmic knocking. Somehow it made me feel uneasy and scared. Someone had been on the other side of that door. And suddenly the screen moved. What?
Takeru, we need to get out of here!
It was showing the man on the bed. The screen was blurry, but the man was almost exactly in the center of the viewfinder. Had I picked up the smartphone? I couldn't remember.
Takeru!
In the video, I ignored Serica's voice and kept pointing the camera at the man. I could hear my own rough breathing, and I remembered how I'd felt then. And suddenly I heard a snap. The screen moved violently for a second, and then for a moment it showed the girl. Then the angle changed again, and it stopped moving. The screen was covered in red blood, but
天井か
is that the ceiling? When I was looking, it was probably the room's ceiling. Since it didn't move at all, this was probably where I'd passed out and dropped it. Just like before, the camera was still recording the sound. I could hear Serica vomiting, and what sounded like someone falling over. What? Hey, what happened here? It caught the police officers running into the room. They were asking Serica what was going on. She was probably the only one there who was still conscious. Shortly after, the screen went black. Serica probably put the phone into her pocket, just like she said. I can hear an irritating noise that must be the sound of the phone scraping against the skirt's fabric. Wait, Japanese skirts have pockets? This is a game changer. The screen stayed black, but it kept picking up the nearby sound. Then at the very end, there was a quick shot of the inside of the patrol car. I realized that at some point I leaned my body towards the screen. I sat back in my chair. I'd known what was going to happen, but this was still hard. To be honest, I was lucky that the phone was dropped and a lot of it wasn't clearly recorded. I didn't feel as much of an urge to vomit as I'd expected, but I was still sweating from a nasty, unpleasant feeling. I gulped down the last bit of liquid in my cup.
尾上大丈夫か
Inoue, are you okay? I asked Serica. And then...
ねえタク最後のと
Hey,
こ
Takeru,
何
did
か
you see
変な
something
の映
weird
っ
at
て
the
な
end
か
of
っ
the
た
video?
Huh?
何
What? Weird. The whole thing was weird. Not a second of it was normal.
部屋の奥に進んでから
Let's
さ
go right further into the room.
Sarah can move the mouse and jump backwards in the video. I couldn't tell whether she was tough or simply dense, but maybe it just felt like nothing. It was nothing but a video. Where she advanced through the shocking scenes with no hesitation.
ほらこここれこれ窓の外
Oh God! Are you referring to this? If that's a thing, I didn't see that until just now, but that's horrifying. Please don't show me that.
Here, look. Outside the window.
Are you referring to this in the background? I don't know, that kind of looks like two eyes, or maybe I've been playing too much Amori in my spare time. Hmm? Yeah. I could see the wall of the Love Hotel across the street from the open window. There was something there.
なんだこれ
What is this?
虫かな
A bug, maybe?
こんなでかい虫がいたら
If there was a bug this big in it, Kursa would go blow up the whole building. She hated bugs.
じゃあいたずら書き
Then maybe some graffiti?
Why was her first answer a bug and her second answer the sensible one?
いやちょっと待って
No, wait.
なんかどっかで
I've seen this before. Oh! Stickers? I switched from my player software to my editing software, then blew up the part of the screen. Damn it. I could make it out, but it was so far away that it was blurry. The resolution was too low.
ほら虫じゃん
See, it is a bug. It's spreading its wings.
I'm still squinting as to what the hell I meant to be looking at.
違うって
It is not.
やっぱりなんかどっかで
I've
見た
seen
気が
this somewhere before. What? I turned around at the loud noise.
よはただいま帰った待たせて悪かったな
Are you my dad? I am assuming this is Gen. You know, given the fact that he looks homeless. That's it, that's all I got. He just looks homeless. I have returned. Sorry to keep you waiting. That was a drunk man with a bottle of booze in his hand. Give me a break. Of course no one was waiting.
もっと静かに入ってき
Make
てよ
less noise when you come in.
おおゲン
Hey, again.
この前
Thanks for the
は
help.
ね
この前
My help?
ラブホテルの事
You
件の
told me
こ
about the thing at the Love Hotel, remember?
Oh,
そうだった
did I?
まあ
Well,
どう
it
でもいい
doesn't matter.
事件かよかったな
Something happened? Great.
僕は新聞記
Takeru
者
wants to
に
be
な
a
りたいんだから
reporter
な
after all. I didn't really. Every day I suppose I want to be a different thing. Last time it was a movie director.
よはただいま
I have returned. Hey, listen,
よ
Taku.
がよである
Look at what I've acquired so that I may remain here.
ん
Huh?
どこだ
Where is it? He started patting down his pockets of his very old coat. And this annoying old man was Gen. He was the elder ruler of this park and the CEO of a company with a 3 billion yen a year salary, and the best friend of my father, Jiro. At least according to him. My dad's name wasn't even Jiro. He was related to a clan of foreign nobles, so if he ever needed, he could summon a foreign special forces team to do his bidding. Except last week, Except last week his bed had been taken over by a stray dog, and he'd come to stay with me. It's gone? My most important thing is gone! Crap, how am I supposed to piss?
Hey, Gen, don't take off your pants!
Gen was always loud when he got drunk. And when he got really drunk, he was louder. Today, he wasn't very drunk. I had no idea what it was like when he was sober. I'd never seen it happen, or heard of it happening. Sometimes, or often actually, at least once a week, he would come by my room drunk, talk for a while, and then leave to search the park for more alcohol. I found it! I found it! Found it missing! Look at this! I don't know what I'm doing with this voice, but the correct answer is having fun.
I'm not going to look! Absolutely not!
It was obnoxious as hell, to put it mildly, but I couldn't chase him away. The more I look at him, the more he looks like a chimney sweep. Actually, I couldn't complain about him much at all. When I'd left the dorm half a year ago, I'd ended up in the bottom half of Miyashita Park. Since the upper half kept the rain off, the bottom half was the one with the most popular spots. A lot of the reason I was able to get this spot, and even get this motorhome, was because of Gen.
You're awful! It's disgusting!
When I lived in the dorm, I'd done some cooking for the homeless in Miyashita Park as part of our volunteer activities. Gen had remembered that. A nobleman does not forget his debts, was all he said. And then somehow I'd been given this place. It was also the one who taught me how to get by in this place. Oh, right! Takeru! Look at this! Wanna buy it? Gen took something out of his pocket. Ah, good, my pawn. I ripped the copy of my favorite magazine out of his hands. I quickly glanced over to Sarika.
I hate you! I hate you, Gen!
She was mumbling that over and over to herself. I thought she liked him. Good, she didn't see it. I breathed a sigh of relief and hid it someplace nearby. How much? Gen raised a single finger. This was one rule, for example. It was the first thing I'd learned at the park. The homeless would never, ever ask you for money. It was the one thing they could never say. Money was either found lying on the ground or earned by working or selling things. It wasn't something other people gave to you. I took out a 100 yen coin from my wallet and gave it to him. Gen grabbed it and put it in his pocket like he didn't really care. Ugh. Hey, I see that a lot lately. He was looking at the PC monitor as he spoke. For a moment, I didn't know what he meant. Huh? Huh? My eyes met Sarika's for just a moment. The monitor was still displaying that blurry, blown-up image. He saw it a lot. Hey, Gen!
You know what this is?
I want to play some baseball. He was in his own little world. What was this guy's problem? I got closer to him. Gen, have you seen this before? Huh? I mean, it's everywhere you look. Like in front of the station. Wait, what's the station again? Huh? You mean the train station, right? Shibuya Station. You know, wait, Takeru, this is the last thing you showed me, right? Huh? You know, a few years ago, when you did a stakeout in a karaoke box, where the first person, something or other. You know what? If I fuck my lines up, it works. He's drunk. That was last weekend, actually. When I'd been uploading the photos of the crime scene I took from the karaoke box, Gen had come by and seen them. This was it.
Oh, Takeru, look!
There's an image of the karaoke box I'd hidden in to take pictures of the crime scene. It was on the 5th floor. I could see the same mark. I switched from the player software to the editor software just like before. I magnified that part of the image. Yep. Right up here. Those fucking accursed stickers. And then I realized what it was. That's right. I had seen this thing before. And just like Gen said, it was something you could find all over Shibuya. Something that had been there for a long time. This is a sumo wrestler sticker.